Hello everybody, John Scritchwell back here again with another video, and today I bring you another Flash review. Yes, it's that time of the week again, and I'm back with another review of The Flash. Now, if you've not seen tonight's episode of The Flash, this review may contain spoilers, so you have already been warned. Anyways, let's get right into today's episode, which is titled The Sound and Fury Flash, Episode 11. Alright, let's get right down into it. Today's episode is mostly, when I rewatch it and I think about it, it really speaks to me as a symbol of trust, because a lot of characters in this episode are dealing with Dr. Wells's secrets and how he's not really giving out all the information that he obviously holds. And not to mention, Barry is dealing with the fact that he's way too trusting of Harrison Wells, and he doesn't really know a lot about Harrison Wells, which comes in tonight's villain. Tonight's villain is, of course, a former protege of Dr. Wells and Star Labs, who is, of course, Pied Piper. Yes, the main villain of tonight's episode. And the actor who played Pied Piper, I think he did a pretty decent job. I mean, I would have liked his costume to look a little bit more colorful, if you will. I mean, I know the CW likes to, darken up the costumes of the show, but overall I thought, with the Flash, they could have done a little bit, more with it. But overall, I did enjoy, his overall outlook. I liked the actor that they chose to portray him, and plus I love those gauntlets that he wore to shoot out the sound waves to attack the Flash and whatnot, so it was pretty interesting. And, pretty much 2 years prior to the events of The Flash, or prior to the events of what's happening in tonight's episode, we get to see a good flashbacks of how Cisco and Caitlin become a part of the team of Star Labs. Not to mention, we get to really get a good overlook onto Harrison Wells's and Pied Piper's overall relationship before everything went wrong. And it was quite interesting. I didn't really expect him to go that far as to show those type of things, but I think it was a tad excessive for a few things, for at least a few moments, and we get to find out that their overall falling out wasn't really that big of a deal. I don't know, every time I look back at it, it just doesn't feel that, it didn't have that much of an impact. Like, the overall episode had a good impact, but the flashbacks felt a little too, not really, they were underwhelming, if that makes any sense. I like the whole chess thing that they had overall in this episode. I like the whole, Pied Piper is obviously a homosexual character, and they try to, bring that out with his relationship with Harrison Wells and stuff. I felt that was alright, but I just think the falling out felt a little too weird. Apparently, spoilers of course, the overall falling out between Pied Piper and Harrison Wells was apparently back during the particle accelerator explosion. Pied Piper was the person who pointed out that would happen, and Harrison Wells decided to shut him out and basically go on with the experiment, which led to, obviously, the explosion and everything, Barry getting his powers and so on and so forth. So we already know, basically, that's what happened. And I think the flashbacks, they served a purpose, of course. They were alright, but I don't think it was really that great of a payoff, if you will. But on top of that, we also get some good overall side plots with Iris West, who gets a new job at the Central Picture News studio, if you will. I don't know. It was really weird plot device that they had to point out to us. I mean, Iris West, we get the idea that she's kind of a journalist, and she's obviously, her main focus during the point of the series has been one of two things, which is A, her relationship with fucking Eddie, and pointing out that the Flash exists. But as we all know, she hasn't really been keeping up with, getting the Flash up to date with his current jobs, if you will, if that makes any sense. Obviously, Iris hasn't really been focusing on that, so I don't know how she got the job. It was just kind of really weird. But overall, apparently her main focus is to become a journalist. And this whole thing, the whole plot device with her doing that and the whole setting, I don't know if anybody else caught it, but it just felt 180 of the show. I know, it just feels so obvious that the CW is trying to make the Flash obviously feel like the Flash, but make it feel like TV Superman. I know a lot of people will discount this and obviously debate this in the comment section below, but doesn't anybody really get the feeling that the Flash the overall TV show feels more like Superman, and Arrow feels a lot more like Batman? I just get that feeling. And this whole scenario with Iris just amplified that times 10. It was just crazy. It's like, first we're in Central City and we're dealing with the normal Flash routine, and then we're like, what the fuck's going on? Are we in Metropolis? What's going on? We're fucking journalists now? What the heck? When did Iris West become Lois Lane? And when did Perry White come to the situation? I don't fucking know. But it's really weird, and I don't know why they had to go that route, but I guess they just want to give her something to do other than just being Eddie's girlfriend. So, I don't know. It's really weird. And on top of that, you have the whole Iris-Barry weird relationship that's going on. I complained about it last episode where they kind of left things very, very odd, and with the fist bump thing, it was so stupid. In today's episode, didn't really help the situation. It just, like, how do you continue to be best friends or call yourself best friends and continue pretending that everything's okay when you obviously have feelings for each other and Barry's obviously obsessed with her? But I guess they've kind of come to terms with it off screen, so I guess that has a lot to do with it. And not to mention, if you've seen the teasers for next week's episode, the Flash will be getting another love interest, so I guess that's another one to count on the list. You have fucking Iris, you got Felicity, now you have this other chick. Who's next? I don't know. Nevertheless, we have some more other plot devices here. Obviously, the Pied Piper thing comes back into effect. He obviously is seeking revenge for Harrison Wells casting him out of overall Star Labs. And I really liked the whole situation between Harrison Wells and Pied Piper. I also liked how we got to see a good inside look into Harrison Wells' life outside of Star Labs. We got to see him in his mansion, and which is freaking extraordinarily amazing. I mean, like, it was a fucking amazing pad. I'm not gonna lie. It was so... I love how Cisco pointed out. It's like, we've never been here, but somehow our boss had this fucking amazing, like, fucking paradise island on a fucking concrete. It's fucking amazing. I don't know. The fucking mansion was cool. I really liked how... this is how a supervillain lives. You never really get that, folks. Like, supervillains, how do they be... we got, Bruce Wayne, he's in, Wayne Manor. He's, Oliver, he's obviously doing his thing. The Flash is in Central City. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Superman's in Metropolis, a.k.a. Smallville. All that good shit. Okay, but the supervillains, where are they hanging out? I don't know. But Harrison Wells / Reverse Flash is living in a fucking penthouse. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And also, it's really cool to see that we get our first look at Harrison Wells actually doing the Speed Force, which is pretty awesome. And there's a lot of things that I need to point out, but I'll leave leave that for the end of the review. Anyways, at the end of this overall plot device, Pied Piper obviously, creates this elaborate ruse where he tries to get captured by Team Flash. Team Flash obviously captures them, and that points out the fact that Pied Piper used that overall capturing so he can get inside Star Labs to obviously, get dirt on Flash's anatomy, and obviously the overall details of the communication between Star Labs and the Flash suit and all that nonsense, to use that against the Flash. And they inevitably have this overall, the cliche, obviously, third act battle. And I think it was pretty good. I think overall the Soundwave visuals were good. How they pointed it out, how they made it feel like a chess battle was pretty cool. I just thought it was just an amazing fight. It was more or less everything you need out of an intelligent mind game. It wasn't like the obvious Flash fistfight battle. It was more or less brains versus bronze, versus brains, if you will. So it was kind of good to get that kind of aspect out of the fight. And I think Pied Piper was a pretty good foe for this episode. I think he did a pretty good job. The actor was pretty good. Once again, for those of you who are wondering, ironically, the actor who plays Pied Piper in this episode was supposed to be the original Flash, which is ironic. Like, he actually auditioned to play Barry Allen. But of course that went to the job of Grant Gustin. But overall, today's episode was nice. I loved Dr. Wells' whole, shtick. I mean, I think his whole relationship with Team Flash definitely has changed over the course of the last couple episodes, and this one definitely amplified it. But things are definitely going on track again. People are trying to obviously, get back into the groove of things, trying to trust each other again so we can be 100% honest with each other and stuff. So I really like that aspects, but Overall, I wish there was a little bit more action. The visuals could have been a little bit better. I don't think everything looked spot on with the overall action sequences. I think, with the overall explosions and all that whatnot, I think could have been a little bit better. But overall, this episode was definitely great. If I had to rate it, I'd give it a good 8 out of 10. It was definitely a great episode. It wasn't your typical Flash action, fist fight kind of like big hulking, beast of a villain. It was more of a mind intelligent chess game overall. So that's what I really liked. But overall, let's get into the extras of this episode, which is of course the ending and the post-title sequence ending. Now, let me start off with the ending. In the end of the episode, spoilers if you've not seen the episode, but I'm about to spoil the ending for all of you guys at home. So overall, Pied Piper obviously defeated by the Flash. Very amazing, good. He's into the pods where they obviously keep all the villains, and he's having a conversation with Cisco. And obviously, at the end of the episode, he states to him that inevitably he's going to get out, and and Team Flash is going to need his help. And this is where the big ringer comes in, which is of course, why do they need this help? Well, apparently he knows what happened to fucking Ronnie, and he knows how to save Ronnie. So apparently, Pied Piper could come into a real big episode where Firestorm finally comes into the fold. So I don't know how that's all going to work out. I mean, we all know that Firestorm inevitably is going to come back on The Flash. We already know that, we have some more Firestorm relatable episodes to come back. So it was kind of interesting that they have this as a setup for that future episode. So nevertheless, that was pretty cool. And now let's get into the end title sequence. Now, spoilers, once again. During the episode, there's a specific sequence where Pied Piper is escaping Star Labs to obviously return his gauntlets and then escape and then use his gauntlets once again against the Flash in their inevitable third act battle. There's a specific sequence where Harrison Wells cannot use the Speed Force. And this was the big ringer in my head where it's like, what happened there? Because he obviously was incapable of using the Speed Force, and then it comes back to the post-title sequence where he's obviously talking to his computer device in a secret lair, which is, of course, Gideon and whatever. So he's talking to his computer about the particle, not the particle, but the tachyon particle device that he obviously got back in last, half of the season, which he connected to his Professor Zoom Reverse Flash suit. Now, apparently, during the conversation that they had, Harrison Wells is incapable of using the Speed Force for long periods of time, and he's actually losing the ability to use his Speed Force. So, I guess we finally understand, a little bit more about what Harrison Wells is trying to get across and what his major goal is, which is, of course, become the fastest man alive or what have you. Overall, I thought it was pretty badass. I think this is definitely going to be a setup to the finale of this overall season. We already know that, Reverse Flash and the Flash are going to battle out again, and it's only inevitable when Barry discovers that Harrison Wells is indeed the Reverse Flash. But does that mean he's the only Reverse Flash? I really don't know. It's a real big issue, and a lot of people still have eyes on Harrison Wells, which hints to Joe's overall quest in this season, or for the back half of the season. Apparently, during the attack on Harrison Wells' penthouse, Joe awarded Eddie with the job of basically finding out dirt on Harrison Wells. So that obviously means that Joe is still not on terms with believing all of Harrison Wells' stories, and he still has a vendetta against Harrison Wells and believes that he's definitely up to no good. So we definitely know that somewhere down the line in this season, possibly the finale or maybe season 2, we don't know, things are going to go off, shit's going to go down, and obviously Team Flash is going to have to go against Reverse Flash, aka Harrison Wells. And what's with the Speed Force? I really don't know. I guess we're going to have to find out in future episodes. But overall, today's episode was definitely awesome. I have some problems with it, but it's mostly nitpicky things. It's not really that big of a deal. So overall, the episode was great. I loved majority of what happened in this episode. I would have liked a little bit more explanation on a few things, between Pied Piper's and Harrison Wells' relationship, not to mention Harrison Wells' Speed Force debacle. And, yeah, it's just... Firestorm, Harrison Wells, Speed Force, Reverse Flash, just a whole bunch of questions just coming up again. And this is what I love. So anyways, in the comment section below, let me know what you personally think about the whole Harrison Wells Speed Force debacle. What do you think about Pied Piper's plan to rescue Firestorm? Do you think he's using that as an excuse to possibly get out of Star Labs and possibly attack Harrison Wells again? Do you think he obviously has a plan to actually use Firestorm to Star Labs / Team Flash's assistance? I don't know yet, but we're all going to find out pretty soon by the end of this overall season, but I cannot wait for more Flash. I'm pretty sure all of you can as well, so in the comment section below, let me know what you personally thought about this season. It was, Orville episode is pretty great. If you have not seen my last episode review, let me know what you personally think. Go to my channel, check that out. I'll definitely have more Flash reviews in the future. I can't wait to review all the, I'm just saying, folks, the closer and closer we get to the finale, I get scared, and I just get more scared because, like, I don't want it to end, but at the same time, I just want to see this battle against Flash and Reverse Flash again. It's just, I just want to see more, but I just want to see that outcome. I just want to know, like, what's in the future? What's happening with the future? What is Harrison Wells really doing? What's with the Speed Force? I don't know. Is there another Reverse Flash? Where's the other one? I don't know. Firestorm? How is he coming to the situation? I don't know. There's a whole bunch of questions. Let me know what you personally think in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. I hope everyone has enjoyed. This has been John 12.